Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Know It Alls Talk Ball podcast with your host, as always, Juan, Jason, again on my couch, perhaps previewing the biggest game of the year.
Perhaps it is
It
the
is
biggest game of the year.
the biggest game of the year. We have finally reached, after a whole year of everybody waiting for the Winter World Cup, we finally reached the final game. Basically, I mean, I know Premier League football starts again in a week, but this kind of feels like the end of football for the year to me.
Yeah, this is the be all and end all of football.
I mean, it's why we're all here, huh?
Yeah, I'm kind of devastated that it's over.
Me too. It's been so much fun having it on, huh?
It has been amazing. It's been great fun. I hope you guys have enjoyed it as well, as much as we have.
I mean, football-wise, of course, we did do our big podcast against all the controversies covering Qatar. Check that one out if you haven't listened to it yet. But if we just focus on the football, it really has been one of the best World Cups, huh?
I think so. And I think that's, people aren't going to like that because it's had so much controversy around it.
I mean, it can't be the World Cup. It can't be a success because of the fact that we've had 7,000 migrant workers die. But if we just look at the football, I don't remember watching a World Cup in my lifetime that has been this fun from the first game to the end.
This enthralling. I mean, there were a couple of duds, but, apart from that, it's been sort of helter-skelter the whole way. It's been amazingly good fun. But yeah, shall we get into some of our
do it. And
reviews?
Speaking of dud, let's talk about that first semifinal.
I think both semifinals were
I thought the second one during when we were watching it live, I thought it was quite a tame game,
the Morocco game.
Yeah, it seemed that France had it. Let's talk about that one since we're on it.
Yeah,
it seemed like France kind of had control, but actually, after watching the highlights again and looking at the stats, Morocco were really unlucky not to score at least one, right?
They were really unlucky, and that's what I was thinking that when we were watching it as well. I was like, wow, they've created a fair bit. But not necessarily in the way of shots. And,
no, just the way they used space was really good. They controlled. I think it was up until this game, they were averaging the second lowest amount of possession in the whole tournament, only behind Costa Rica, which were easily the worst, if not the second worst team. Up there with Qatar. But then this last game, 60% possession, and maybe that was part of the plan. Okay, well, they're very good without the ball. How about we let them have it, see how it goes? Yeah. I thought Mbappe looked really, really good on that left wing, even against Hakimi, his own teammate, who we know is super physically capable of keeping up. Mbappe, I thought, had, there was one run he made. Even the second one that led up to the goal, just the way that he was moving, his pace, his speed, his dribbling.
The second goal.
It was when he was shifting, took a shot. It kind of took a deflection, and then Kolo Muani, I want to say is his name, the guy who put it away. And France find themselves in a second World Cup final. In 4 years, they could become the first since Pele's Brazil in '58 and '62 to repeat. I think this will be more post, and we'll see depending on the result. But Mbappe, if he wins this World Cup,
he's got 2 World Cups and he's 23.
That's Pele level.
That's Pele level.
And Pele, of course, I slander him. A lot of people slander him because his stats were, but Pele, he still did that. He still won the 2 World Cups when he was 20, I think.
But
he was
also,
by the time.
I think you've mentioned that Pele. He had a big role in one of those World Cups, but not so much in the other one. Is that right?
I think in 58, I think he was maybe 17 when he won and went there. And, of course, he scored in the semis. He scored in the final. So, it's not like he had nothing. But I think 62, he was a little bit more injured. I would have to double-check that. But I think Garrincha was the one who really carried that side.
I mean, if you look at Mbappe, though, he's had such an instrumental role in both of these France
carried,
teams.
I think, is a bit far. He definitely hasn't carried, but he is the man of that team.
Yeah, right? That France team is absolutely loaded with talent front to back. There's no other way to look at it. But his role within that team is so crucial, and he does everything he needs to do, and he does everything right.
And he's also, I feel like, if the game's not going well, I think France turn to him. The same way that if the game's not going well for Argentina, we turn to Messi, Mbappe's has that much of a... He's just become the guy. Mbappe is him, he's the guy. And if he wins another World Cup, and especially a lot of the slander against Pele is, he played against farmers. Like, sure, you can say the same about Ligue 1, but Mbappe's playing in the Champions League at a top 5 European league level and doing ridiculous things at age 23.
Yeah, I don't think stats-wise, I mean, he still needs to do a lot to even get stats-wise to where Messi and Ronaldo are.
Of course,
because Messi and Ronaldo have taken it in the modern era to something absolutely obscene that we before then we wouldn't even have imagined would be possible.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely.
But now if you look at the game now, the people to repeat those stats, and in the case of Mbappe, to add to that in terms of trophies, I don't think Haaland's ever going to get a World Cup. No. But Mbappe, he could still go on to achieve those stats and have 2 World Cups.
Yeah, and the fact that we're talking about a guy who could potentially win a second World Cup, knowing that he could play he's 23, so he might be he'd be 27 in the next one, and then he'd be 31 in the one after that, and then he'd be 35, so he could play 3 more World Cups. Yeah. Pele's the only player to win 3. If France, especially,
I mean, if you look at the amount of young talent that's still in the France team, you wouldn't put it past them.
And if Mbappe keeps performing at this level, like if we look at him like Messi, Ronaldo, guys that are still performing at age 30 plus at a ridiculously high level, then Mbappe could easily surpass the legacy that we are seeing with Messi and Ronaldo. You know?
I think time will obviously tell because. Yes, we've got. He's doing amazing right now, and yes, he's already got 2 World Cups. But you've seen.
Not yet.
Oh, sorry. Not yet. Yeah. I'm letting my prediction influence this as well. I hope we get this up before the game tomorrow as well. We are recording this just in case you're thinking that I'm like that we're doing this after the World Cup and France has won in case they did win. But no, this is being filmed before the World Cup. But yeah, I think time will tell with Mbappe because you look at Brazilian Ronaldo, right?
Right.
Ballon d'Or at 19. But then injuries
also has 2 World Cups, although I would say that the one in 94 he didn't play a minute. Yeah. So what's the role in that, right?
But yeah, exactly. Like you don't know. Mbappe has had little niggles and injuries here and there as well.
And these players that play the amount of football at the level that they play from age 18, like Mbappe was in the Champions League semi-final playing like 50 games a season at age 18 already. Yeah. Like that builds like age on your legs. Even if you're 23, he has body, his legs might be like 30 already, you know? Yeah, so hopefully he stays on his path.
Yeah, I think, it'll be interesting to see because I think this is a sort of changing of the guard moment essentially. But also, whether you can keep that longevity going, whether we see if that's something that builds in players from here on out, because I think Ronaldo and Messi were born into an era of football where the professionalization of it just shot up dramatically. There was a way more holistic approach by footballing organizations to make sure that players stay fit. And I don't think the likes of Brazilian Ronaldo or Ronaldinho, or because I think there's stories of Ronaldinho going clubbing the night before games and stuff like that.
Yeah, you know, like Roberto Carlos, these guys that are crazy, like stories of party. I mean, just look at Maradona. You think a single player of that, like that's as if Messi was like doing coke and being in brothels and then going to play Sunday against Reims. You know, like that's ridiculous.
I think what I'm trying to say is I think the likelihood that he can keep that longevity going is a lot more than sort of previous generations. I think he definitely has a chance to sort of surpass Ronaldo and Messi.
I mean, we're going to preview the final. We're just talking Mbappe.
Yeah. Shall we look a little bit at the Argentina?
Let's talk a little bit more about France. We're on it because I think that for all the hype that Mbappe has been getting this tournament, and deservedly so, right? 5 goals. He's top scorer right now with Messi. He's been, I think, very, very good in every game, bar against England. I thought that was the only game that he didn't look at his best.
Really there,
but neither France as a whole didn't look their best against England. But I think Griezmann, maybe he doesn't have the numbers that Mbappe has or the wow factor anymore because of sort of what's happened to him at club level, falling off a cliff after Barca, successfully rebuilding his career at Atletico, especially this year. He has been so important to that team, even though he was making 30-minute cameos every game because of that stupid fee thing with Barca. But he has been ridiculous this tournament. Like, if it wasn't that Messi had the numbers and Mbappe had the numbers, I think he'd be clearly winning the player of the tournament, especially if France were to win tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think he's up there. I think Dembele's had a good tournament. Giroud, of course, is expected to miss tomorrow's clash, which is huge.
Would you say that player of the tournament hinges on tomorrow as well?
I think whoever wins tomorrow,
Messi or Mbappe.
Exactly. I think tomorrow we're seeing everything played out between Messi and Mbappe. Not just player of the tournament, but possibly the golden ball, because you'd expect whatever team wins, one of those two guys is probably on the score sheet. Maybe Mbappe more than Messi, I would say, but
especially with lacking Giroud, Mbappe's
going to have to have a lot on his shoulders that he's going to have, and it should be interesting because he looks so dangerous on the left. I thought our right back position is probably one of the weakest in the team, so it does bring me confidence that he's not going to be running terror on Nahuel Molina for the whole game. But yeah, France have a very good squad, and they're repeat champ. They're not repeat champions, but they're defending champions for a reason. They're there for a reason. So, but let's move on to the other game, Argentina, Croatia. What did you think as a neutral?
Well, this was a completely dead game. Like it was, you guys controlled it start to finish. I struggle to even think of a good chance that Croatia had, maybe one or two.
At the beginning of the game, I think that a lot of football fans and football media think that possession means that you're playing well.
No.
I think that that's such a common misconception. And we also saw when the Dutch played the US, there was such a big uproar at halftime of like, even though you guys were up 2-0 of like, oh, we're not playing well. It's like, no, you just don't have the ball. That doesn't mean like if possession means you're playing well, then we would count games like, oh, what team had the most possession, you won.
Yeah.
Right? And Croatia at the beginning of the game, I totally agree. They were dominating possession, but they did nothing with it.
Yeah, they had a couple of nice interplays in the midfield, but couldn't really penetrate your defense.
We defended them really narrowly.
Yeah.
We let them have the width because I don't think we were ever scared that Perisic would beat one of our guys one-on-one or whoever was on the right wing would beat one of our guys one-on-one. And I think that, I don't know if it was Scaloni or Messi or just... But the way that we drew Guardiol completely away.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was a Croatian coach who told Guardiol, fair enough, having the tournament of his life, in my opinion, the best center back of this tournament. But like, I don't think there's been very few that compare with him.
Yeah.
And Messi just turned him into a child. Like he turned him into a child. And I think it was because of his aggressiveness is that Argentina found so much success. Because you'd see it like we talked about it in the lead up to the penalty. Messi moves forward, like pretending to receive a short pass from DePaul. Guardiol steps completely out of line to challenge him, and DePaul plays the ball over the top for Julian Alvarez against Dejan Lovren. Like Lovren, even when he was 25, was slow as fuck. Like imagine now that he's 50. And then the penalty. A lot of people thought it shouldn't have been given. I thought it was a clear penalty.
I thought it was a penalty. Yeah, I think when you look at that game as well, you're talking about the start, how Croatia had possession. The start of that game was actually very, very strange now that I think back at it. Because it was a lot of giving the ball away. It was both
from
teams
both sides,
really sloppy start until you guys got the penalty, and then it was smooth sailing for Argentina.
I thought Julian Alvarez, again, proving his worth, not only to this team, but just in general. Like, what a signing for City to pick that kid up for, what was it, 20 million at most, I think? I think it was like 25, maybe 20 or something like that. For a guy who's clearly proven like he's going to be a world star if he continues on this trajectory. His second goal, a lot of luck, of course, that it doesn't get cleared, but that's just pure determination.
That was a horrible goal.
No, like it should have been cleared like 4 or 5 times. But the fact that he just kept going, didn't give up, and you can see it. Like I think when we watch the replay. That it's kind of focusing from here, so you see the run like coming at you.
Yeah.
When the ball bounces the second time, he's smiling, almost as if like, oh, I'm gonna score this. Like he has a smile on his face. He puts it away. I think he becomes the youngest player since Pele to score a semi-final brace. I think he's 21, so he applies. Give him the young player of the tournament. Last video I said Guardiol, give it to him. I think you got to give it to Alvarez.
I think you got to give it to Alvarez now. Yeah,
He's
I think it'd be hard
goals.
to look past it. But he didn't get man of the match for that game, I don't think.
No, the thing is, Messi is going to keep getting man of the match. I mean, he had another goal, another assist, I want to say. The assist.
I think that's the best individual piece of play that we've seen all tournament. It was how is that man doing that at how old is he?
35 against the best defender of the tournament.
Well, who we think is the best defender.
If he had Lovren on that, like maybe you kind of like okay, whatever. But like Guardiol was talked about as if he was like the second coming of Beckenbauer. And now he got rinsed.
It was crazy to watch. I mean, he picks the ball up around the halfway line and then just dribbles with Guardiol sticking with him the whole way, and then just turns him inside out with a quick little drop of the shoulder, runs it down the line, has the presence of mind. You can see when he's on the byline, he looks up, sees Julian Alvarez there, and puts that ball goes right to his foot.
It's perfect.
Alvarez doesn't even have to move.
It was from FIFA. It was like you had 2 Team of the Year players, like 99 overall both. Like, it was just the easiest goal ever for Alvarez.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And there's a fan video, like the genius of this of Messi, like before the assist, he's standing here and he has Guardiol like literally like how you are next to me, like right next to him. He looks at Alvarez and he points to him like this. And then Alvarez takes Guardiol follows him for a bit so Messi can have the space to receive the ball. Yeah. The second he receives it, he looks at Alvarez and he does like a little hint so that he moves away. And then he just takes Guardiol one-on-one. Like, it was as if he was like, oh yeah, I'm going to fucking rinse this kid right now. Go on him. Let me have it. Like,
he's like, up and coming defender. Let me see about that. You haven't played me yet.
Let me see who you are. You know how many up and coming defenders I've come up against, bro? Let's
remember Jerome Boateng? Yeah, didn't think so, right? I ended his career.
So I thought Messi was again amazing. The whole team was amazing. But we'll see tomorrow. Tomorrow is a different beast. France, I think, have clearly been the best team in the tournament. There with England, maybe you can say. I mean, Argentina, I think, are getting very disrespected. I think a lot of people think that we've had such an easy run into the final. First of all, we don't pick who we play
beat the Netherlands.
You know, we beat the Netherlands.
Yeah, and I think this tournament has proven that it doesn't matter who you come up against.
No, you gotta beat them.
You gotta beat them, exactly.
It doesn't matter.
You guys have done that all the way. And I mean, France as well. Who did they have before England?
They had Poland, which were easily the worst team to make it through. I thought they were even worse than Australia.
And France had a super easy group as well, was it?
Yeah, with a failing. Well, Argentina also. We just couldn't beat Saudi
Arabia. Australia, Denmark, and Tunisia.
Yeah.
So that's pissy.
I don't know. Well. I think both teams have had quite favorable runs outside of the quarterfinals. Where like, fair enough. I think England is definitely the best team either team has faced, but the Netherlands it's not a walkover for any team. So
I mean, and it wasn't. You only had to watch the game to figure that one out. Right?
Yeah, like, it was super tense up until the last bit, right? So,
but shall we get into a prediction? I already know that your one's going to be hitting Argentina's way.
Yeah, I mean, I also predicted. That's the thing. Like, my predictions, it seems so not credible, but I predicted Argentina to win the tournament. Like, of course, I'm Argentinian, but like, I feel like if the team wasn't good enough, I maybe wouldn't have predicted that.
Exactly.
If it was 2018, if it was the 2018 team, I would not have predicted us to win.
I would really love it if Messi won tomorrow, and I've never been a big Messi fan, but I would like to see him lift the trophy tomorrow. France has already won, but unfortunately, I don't know if it's going to happen. I think I'm going to go 2-1 France after extra time.
Oh, that would fucking crush me, man.
I know.
Just thinking about that has absolutely killed my mood.
I really hope Argentina wins, though. I really hope that.
You know, the worst part is that I can tell you Argentina's going to win, but I have no idea how. I think we're going to win 2-0. I've been predicting 2-0s. I'm going to stick with it. Messi. por favor, Messi. I'm begging you, man. Please win this, man. Like, you have to, man. And the thing is, like, let's stop with all that narrative that Messi needs this World Cup to cement his legacy.
He's the GOAT.
He's already the greatest player of all time. Like, the World Cup is only going to push him further up ahead of everyone else.
I think if he wins this, he becomes, I think, like, so foundational to football itself.
I think he would become kind of like, every sport. No, go ahead. Sorry, finish.
Yeah, I don't know that you could even describe how big. I mean, already he is crazy. He's huge. Everyone knows who Messi is. You know. So I think this win will elevate him even further. But I don't think. Yeah, he definitely doesn't need this to be the greatest of all time. He is the greatest of all time.
I think what the World Cup would do for Messi is that it makes it undoubtable. Like in some sports, right? Like. Basketball, for example. Like, we do know all about balls, so we're going to talk a little bit. In basketball, people have Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant. Some people have, like, even going back to, like, Wilt Chamberlain. Like, there are a lot of people think differently of who the GOAT is. The only sport that I can say has one legitimate GOAT is probably ice hockey with Wayne Gretzky.
I got another one as well.
Do you think Tom Brady is?
No, I reckon swimming.
Michael Phelps.
Right? I think that's the one that comes to mind.
Like,
he's like
Michael Phelps.
Untouchable.
Right? That's the best example you could give me. Michael Phelps. That's where Messi is if he wins this World Cup. Michael Phelps level. It's not Michael Jordan, LeBron James, who many people think are the GOATs, but the fact that there's a debate, how could there be two greatest of all time? Yeah. I think Messi wins this World Cup. It's undoubtedly he's the greatest player of all time. Like, there's no one that can even compare. No. Because the only one that comes close in his generation is Ronaldo, and he hasn't even made a final.
No, I think the last few years, I don't think Ronaldo was ever on the level that Messi was. He got a lot more recognition because of, he's got 5 Champions Leagues now. And
playing for Real Madrid helps.
And playing for Real Madrid and just being the character that he is. But yeah, I think it's been pretty clear. I used to be big time Camp Ronaldo, and I would dig into the debate. I'd be like, he's got more goals, but no, let's be honest here. Messi, to watch him play this World Cup has been incredible. Like, he's had some performances that are just untouched in this World Cup. I mean,
just as a fan of Argentina, from the bottom of my heart, I have to thank this team. Like, the way that because I don't think any Argentinian has, at least in my generation, has ever connected to a national team this much. And I think most people would tell you they haven't connected to it since Maradona won it for us in '86. There's such a strong connection between the fans and the players. And they've really helped us to believe again, like, because I tell you, like, I mean, 2014, I was 14 years old. What do I know? But I didn't feel the same way I feel about this team. Like, every game in 2014 was like, shit, like, we might lose right here, right now. Like, there was not that much confidence. Like, every game, as nervous as I get, I'm always confident we're going to win.
And then I think after 2018, it absolutely killed
2018 killed every hope. And Messi retired from the national team. Everyone made him out to be the scapegoat. Everyone hated him. He was a piece of shit. He failed us. Like, I hated Messi too at that time. I was like, I mean, I didn't hate him as much as people were like, because people were saying he was the worst thing to ever happen to Argentina, bro. Like, he's the only reason we're still relevant. Like, you know what it's like to grow up in Hong Kong, tell people you're from Argentina, all they know is Messi. Of course. Like, you can't blame a guy for only knowing who Messi is. Like, he kept us relevant as a nation. But I just want to, whatever happens tomorrow, I'm so happy to support Argentina this World Cup. Like, we've really, especially after losing 2-1 to Saudi Arabia, it seemed like it was over. And now we're in the final. Like, who cares that we lost to Saudi Arabia? We're in the final. Yeah. So I'm just so glad that I get to either be crushed again for the second time in 8 years, or have the happiest day of my life.
I'll be here for you. Yeah, I will be looking on in envy if they do win a little bit.
I mean, especially because you guys could have been there. I mean,
because I think I've got 15 good World Cups left in me, because that means I'll be 85 or 84. So Netherlands. Please. 60 years, 15 World Cups. Please give it a good go. But guys, I think that is it from us over here. I hope that you guys enjoy the final, and we will be back hopefully with a little final review and a little bit of a tournament review as well. Might get you a tournament 11 or something like that. But enjoy the final. We hope it's great.
Have fun. Celebrate with us.
Yeah. Peace.